But I will point out that Finding Nemo has way more plot holes.
Oh, really?
Like, what exactly was Marlin's plan to rescue Nemo? Go to the address of the dentist and knock on the door?
Well, Marlin didn't really have a plan to begin with. He was just chasing the boat, and when he lost track of it, a bunch of involuntary circumstances led him to find the mask, the only thing that he could find that would help him track his son down. They didn't really know what the words meant. They probably don't even know what an address is. It's just when they repeated that to the school of fish, they pointed them towards Sydney. Now, mind you, the plot does aid Marlin. If it weren't for the gossip chain reaching the Pelicans, they would have just gotten to Sydney Harbor and nothing would have happened.
And the climactic ending makes no sense. Gil says all drains go to the ocean. No, they don't. Otherwise, poop would go straight in the ocean.
Which is why Nemo escapes through a drain at a waste treatment plant.
He meets Dory, then just minutes later he's willing to risk his life to save her when she's caught in a fishnet.
True, but it would be weird if she was a complete stranger. Nemo was immediately made aware that she helped his dad find him and therefore is someone worth saving. But even if it is a little bit hand-wavy, the whole point of the climax is to fulfill Marlin's character arc of learning to let his son go.
He tells all the fish to swim down, but what does he know? He has no experience with fishing nets.
You seem to have completely forgotten about this scene.
Hold on, I'm coming! Swim down! Come on, kids! Swim down! Come on! Everybody jump in! Swim down! That's it!
That moment is completely inconsequential because Nemo just gets captured right away, but the whole point is to set up that Nemo knows to swim down in a net. In fact, the stage musical, which boils the entire movie down into 35 minutes, still includes that moment because it is pertinent to setting up the climax.
And bags of water don't float on top of water.
Don't they?
There's a little bit of air in here, much like the ones in the movie. Floating because of the air. Make sure it's not, nope, not touching the bottom.
There is still air in those bags. Not a lot, but that's enough to get it to float.
And how do fish ride on the backs of rays and turtles?
Okay, so most people don't seem to know what a plot hole is, which is an inconsistency within the narrative of the story. It would be a plot hole if the fish could ride on a ray, but not on the turtles. But in the world that they've established, this is possible. While the story is realistic, it's still a fantasy in the fact that fish don't have complex emotions and familial relations. In fact, if this was actually true to science, when a clownfish's mate dies, they will actually transform into the other sex and breed with their children. And obviously that's not what they wanted to go with this story.
Personally, I think the bad critical reviews for Brother Bear were an overreaction. During this time period, animated movies were in a revolution of CGI and storycraft. Sometimes people get caught up in looking for the latest breakthrough rather than just allowing themselves to enjoy a good movie.
And I completely agree with you, which is why I love this video. I was screaming this exact point last summer because I was convinced that the only reason that Elemental was not very popular was because people refused to allow themselves to enjoy a good story. History is repeating itself. Last year, Pixar's Elemental came out, and I thought it was a fantastic film that called back to the tone and feel of early classic Pixar films. But most people seem to ignore it because it was more of Pixar's usual style, and it came out 2 weeks after Across the Spider-Verse, which did a bunch of creative and innovative things with animation. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and Mutant Mayhem likewise have been doing experimental things with animation. And while Elemental does do some technically difficult things with the animation, most people just write it off as just another animated movie when I think it was fantastic. Because of this video, my family and I watched Brother Bear last night, and I've forgotten how fantastic of an underrated gem of a Disney film it is.